Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. My name is Amy Carr. I am the Vice President of Recruiting, and I'm joined by Tracy, our Director of Recruiting. And today we are excited to talk with you about one of our really fantastic direct hire employers, McLaren. As always, if you are listening, please make sure to put where you are listening from in the comments. We would love to know where in the world you are listening from, and then would love to answer your questions about McLaren. Before we get started, just a couple of notes. The McLaren opportunity is an EV3 RN opportunity, and you do have to have taken and passed the NCLEX in order to interview. We'll probably say that again, but you do have to take it and pass the NCLEX to interview for the RN positions. And super excited to talk with you about the McLaren Healthcare Corporation. We are hiring for one hospital, but it is in a group with 12 hospitals, and they have physicians' offices and imaging centers and lots and lots of employees. So this is a great place to work where there's a lot of opportunity. So let's really start talking about first the mission for McLaren. And so McLaren's mission is to have the best value in healthcare as defined by quality outcomes and cost. Which I know is really important for many of our nurses to be a part of a healthcare system that really values quality. And we'll talk a little bit more about this particular hospital a little bit later. But the vision of McLaren is that they will be the recognized leader and preferred provider of healthcare services to all of the communities they serve. So, really community focused, very patient centric. And then their guiding principle is to provide healthcare as we expect for our own family. So I think as we hear from international nurses all the time, that it's really important to have a good employer, obviously that treats them well and has good benefits, but is also a place that they're proud to work. And I think McLaren is one of those places that really values the same thing that almost all of our international nurses value. And then let's just talk a little bit about their values. So you can see it listed here, I think all the things that are really important: trust, respect, kindness. And I think also important to mention to me is that in 2024, McLaren was listed by Newsweek as one of America's greatest workplaces for diversity. So also to value diversity, which I think is really important for everyone who is, who is in the process and looking for a great place to start your American dream. Now, maybe over to Tracy to talk a little bit more about the McLaren system.
Thank you so much, Amy. Hi, everyone. So this next slide is, you'll see several different numbers here. Again, these numbers are an overview of their 2024 collective 12 hospital reach within the entire system. So that's what you're seeing here. And a couple things to call out are just, over 375,000 ER visits and almost 200,000 home care visits. They have 3,100 licensed beds across this whole system, and almost 5,000 births, which is fun. So some good numbers just to give you scope of the entire healthcare system. They have 28,000 full-time, part-time, and contracted employees, and more than 113,000 network providers throughout Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio. And again, we'll get into a little bit more specifically about Northern Michigan, which is where we have our RN opportunities. So into the next slide, you will see an overview of their benefits that they offer to their employees. And so some things that you'll see here are that they offer life insurance, medical, dental, vision, short-term disability plans, flexible spending accounts for any kind of out-of-pocket healthcare costs they contribute to, employee assistant programs, and then 403B plans. Another thing to note about their benefits is that they maintain academic affiliation with medical schools locally, so there are opportunities for continuing education with them as well. Okay, so in the next slide, we'll get a little bit more into what we're currently recruiting for and specifically some facts about Michigan as a state. And so our location with our opportunities is in northern Michigan and specifically Petoskey, Michigan. And it's beautiful. I highly recommend going and looking at some of the photos online about the surrounding area, but their population, and you'll see some median home price ranges there. Average monthly rent is around $17.75. And then some really great reasons to live in Petoskey. You'll see there's several different locations and areas to check out there. I've heard a lot about the Petoskey stones. It's a prominent piece of landmark for Petoskey, and so highly recommend looking into some of these things as you're researching the local area.
And maybe just to note, it's also like a vacation area for many people in the Midwest. So this is it's like a vacation town that you could live in all year round.
Definitely. Perfect. On to our next slide. We can look at some of the monthly costs, right? So cost of living comparison. And so this is the county within Petoskey, Michigan, Emmett County. You'll see that the totals in comparison to, let's say, the San Francisco metro area, which is in California, very affordable, right? So whether it's just one adult and no dependents, it's around just shy of $45,000 a month. Whereas if you have two adults, two children, let's say in comparison, it's just shy of $100,000. So very affordable and a great area for cost of living comparison. Let's say against California. So that leads us into what we're hiring for now within McLaren. So in Northern Michigan, we're specifically hiring for a cardiovascular unit and med-surg nurses. And so McLaren, Northern Michigan in particular, is a 202-bed regional facility, and they serve residents across 22 different counties. In northern and lower Michigan is the eastern part of the upper peninsula there. So if you are a nurse within those specialties in CBU and med-surg, we would love to hear from you. And we are actively interviewing for both units.
And maybe just a couple of notes about just the Northern Michigan Hospital itself. One, it was top 15 hospitals in the state of Michigan in 2024. So it's an excellent hospital. And I think for the cardiovascular program in particular, it's a top 50 heart hospital in the US. And it's also earned a Gold Plus distinction from the American Heart Association. So, if you're a cardiovascular nurse, this would be a really great place to go. It's also magnet status for nursing excellence. So, really, really excellent hospital. So I think that's an important thing to know.
Perfect. Awesome. So we have interview dates confirmed for every week in March for both of those units. Again, med-surg and cardiovascular. So if that speaks to you, please reach out. The ways that you can apply are through the apply link on this slide, but we'll also add how to go about applying in the link or in the chat as well. And then, of course, if you're working with a recruiter, please mention this in particular, this webinar, and McLaren specifically. We are more than happy to help walk you through the process.
Yeah. So we'd love to take any questions that you have. There's some that have come in the comments, but please make sure to drop your questions in the comments because we will start answering them now. I'm going to take a second just to shout out all the different countries people are watching from. Nigeria and Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, Cameroon, Zimbabwe, Kenya, a couple of people from Kenya, Ethiopia, another Saudi Arabia, Philippines, Ghana. So people all around the world, super exciting. So I think one of the questions that came in is about, or does Worldwide offer H-1B visa sponsorships? The short answer is yes. The long answer you can find in a webinar. Ron did a webinar, Ron Hoppy, our CEO, all about H-1B sponsorships. And I think really, why there aren't more of them available right now. Please find that on our YouTube page. If you are interested in H-1B visa sponsorship, which is a really hot topic right now, I think that's a great place to start your research. So, and we'll put that, there we go. The YouTube channel is in our comments, so you can go there. Oh, look, somebody from Germany is here. That's so fun. And I think Mary's hoping to find a job with an employer that aligns and appreciates her values, which is exactly what we want for you, Mary. So we hope this has helped to give you information about McLaren, and specifically the Northern Michigan Hospital and the opportunities that we have available right now. I think maybe some of the other questions that normally come up are about, how long does the process take right now? Tracy, can you just tell us how long the process takes?
Yes, absolutely. So how the process works is once you apply and engage with a recruiter and you find a fit an opportunity that's a great fit for you, you will interview, and once you interview, receive an offer and accept an offer, that begins your immigration process. And our team works very closely with you with every step of the way, up until, we gather some documents from you, we file your petition, and then there are several other steps involved in the immigration process. And for the EB3RN process, it's usually around 18 to 24 months for the entire immigration flow from offer accepted to arrival in the U.S.
And then a question from Mary about she has experience in med surg, but she's currently working as a midwife. But what kind of visa is it? And I think this is an EB3 visa offer. So that's the U.S. green card. And with the EB3 visa, you are allowed to bring your dependents up to the age of 21 and your spouse. So great question.
Great question. We have another one here about from Muno asking some advice on creating and writing a resume, and if we have templates. In fact, we do. We have a template that we can share with you, and did a similar webinar session such as this, walking through some of the different points of the template and the value in writing resume a certain way and adding specific experience. So please refer to that on our YouTube channel as well, but then we can also share that template with you in the chat, which we've done just now.
Yeah, so yes, we do. And it's a great idea. It's a great idea to learn more about that as you're embarking on finding the right U.S. employer. So we encourage you to go to the YouTube page and watch all the things about preparing for interviews and being the very best version of yourself that you can present, including having an amazing resume. So I see from Dubai, from Ireland. That's so fun. How somebody is asking, how do you apply? I think the best way to apply is to go to our website. And there's an apply now link, and you can, it asks you some questions and ask for your most current resume, and then we'll be happy to connect you directly with a recruiter. And then somebody's asking about sponsorship for the NCLEX. At this time, we don't sponsor for the NCLEX exam. We do have some resources on our website for how to register, and would encourage you to visit that. But we don't offer sponsorship, and this particular opportunity is for RNs that have already taken and passed the NCLEX exam. And then a question about, do I immediately need to provide my marriage certificate when I start applying with you, or is it needed at a later stage? Generally, that is when you apply, you don't have to have it, but very quickly after you apply and you get a job and you're ready to file your petition, that is generally when we ask for your marriage certificate. So it's generally, if you want to include your spouse on your petition, we need it at petition filing. Oh, look, England, somebody's watching from Chile. That's fun.
Ooh.
That's awesome. I think one other question that normally comes up is about the English exam. and what English exams are accepted in the state of Michigan. And so in the state of Michigan, they accept the TOEFL, IELTS, MET, and OET. Those are the exams that are accepted in the state of Michigan. Well, I think that might be all the questions that we have today. Thank you to everybody for watching. We are always happy to talk about the employers that we have. Please like us on Facebook for other updates about employers and also immigration updates. We post immigration updates often and do other informational webinars to help you along your way. So please make sure that you like us so you get all of those. And then also don't forget, we have an amazing Refer a Nurse program. So if you have friends or colleagues that you would like to take this journey to the US with you, please go in and sign up and refer your friends and colleagues. We'd love to help them too. Thank you to everybody, and we hope that you have a really good evening or afternoon or morning, depending on where you are in the world. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.